There is no singular answer for this. The rise in gendered violence has been noted in other post-conflict societies, for example, Bosnia and Colombia. There are, again, few studies into why this happens, however, there are some theories. One is that gendered violence becomes normalised during conflict, so ceasefires only result in decreased violence levels for men. This means women can continue to experience the same gendered violence they experienced during conflict, alongside new forms of post-conflict gendered violence. There have been a few studies done on the gendered violence women experienced during the Troubles. For example, state violence in the form of the forced strip searching of women prisoners in Armagh jail. There was also paramilitary violence in the form of the tarring and feathering of Catholic women who were in romantic relationships with British soldiers. And there was domestic violence from women's own partners and family members within the home. If we consider these three areas as examples of the forms and perpetrators of violence women were experiencing during the conflict, we can understand how violence against women can persist post-conflict just in different ways. I would say in the case of Northern Ireland in particular, there are a number of factors which may contribute to the rising rates of violence against women post-conflict. There is a historical lack of trust in police in some communities, which takes time to rebuild post-conflict. Also, although this is less the case nowadays, Northern Ireland has historically been quite a religious society, and this can have an impact on societal views towards sex and women. Northern Ireland is also somewhat less progressive than, for example, England. We only got abortion access in 2019, and the same goes for gay marriage. There are also a lack of consequences for perpetrators of violence against women. For example, Northern Ireland's laws around consent are quite vague. The Gillen Review, which was a review into sexual offence laws following the Ulster Rugby rape trial, had a range of recommendations for improving the laws around these types of offences. However, limited progress has been made on actually implementing these changes 6 years later. Finally, and this is something I've noticed in my own PhD interviews with women who grew up during the Troubles, all forms of violence appear to have been normalised during this time because they were so common. This is a legacy which is difficult to change with any haste.